to Washington, where Elizabeth Warren's meltdown over the White House ballroom has reached a new low, or high if you're us who despise her, claiming all that money could be used to feed the children instead.
This is how much money that Republicans are trying to shovel into Trump's gold-encrusted ballroom. And the cost to cover free school lunch for every public school kid in the whole state of Arkansas for a year. This is how much it would cost to cover insulin copays for every person with diabetes in Massachusetts for a year. Your tax dollars should be used to make your life better, not for some Trump gold-encrusted vanity project.
Well, clearly someone forgot their listening cap at home because, newsflash, the ballroom is privately funded. Not a dime coming from taxpayers.
All of this was paid for by myself, and because I keep hearing we are making a gift of this book. This is a gift. This is not going to be paid for by the taxpayer. This is a gift to the United States of America. And more than a gift, it's going to be one of the most beautiful buildings that's ever been built in the country or in Washington, D.C.
Here now to react, Fox News contributor and Steamboat Institute fellow Kaylee McGhee White. Kaylee, Elizabeth Warren, I just think about, she talks about how she would spend the money, and I hear how she would waste the money or how she would open any money up to fraud. And she talks about feeding the children. Well, you know what? Food stamps and SNAP already cost about $102 billion a year, but that's never enough for them.
Yeah, it's incredible how selective Democrats' outrage is. To your point about fraud, I don't remember Elizabeth Warren lifting a finger to do anything about the billions of dollars in fraud in states like Minnesota and California. Think about how many children she would be able to feed if taxpayer dollars in those states were actually going to the people who needed them instead of to illegal immigrants and to career criminals and to leftist activist organizations. She'd be able to feed a whole lot of people. And to that point, Democrats were in control of the entire federal government for 4 years under Joe Biden. And they did not do any of the things that she's complaining about here. They did not lower the price of insulin. They did not increase the school lunch budget. They didn't do any of those things. Instead, they raised the cost of inflation for everyday Americans and just made life worse for everyone. So they don't have any solutions to these problems because they're actually incapable of fixing them. And it actually serves them to keep these problems on the books so that they can have things to continue to blame President Trump for, things to continue to complain about, while the problems just continue to grow worse in states where they're under Democratic governance.
Yeah, when you think about all of the issues heading into the kickoff of election season, you have to wonder if both parties, the constituents of both parties, aren't more focused on affordability. And when Democrats, even some Democrats, hear this discussion around the ballroom, I have to imagine that they're tired of hearing about a ballroom and not hearing enough about their paycheck. How could some of the Republicans beat the Democrats to the punch in delivering that clear message here very quickly and get things away from this ballroom?
Yeah, and I think you're seeing some Republicans in Congress express that frustration. However, the $1 billion here that Elizabeth Warren is talking about, President Trump has made it clear that that's not for the ballroom itself. That's actually for security upgrades. That's for a military bunker underneath of it. And then everything for the ballroom itself is privately funded through donations. So what taxpayers would be funding is security upgrades through the Secret Service for the White House and not the ballroom itself.
And for a wing on a ballroom and a wing on the White House that will be used by future presidents, for Pete's sake, these Democrats act as if they don't want President Trump to be safe, but what about future presidents? That's what I get back to. It's like the man has had 3 assassination attempts on his life. Is that not enough for these Democrats?
Well, and the only reason that they're opposing it is because he's the one doing it. If any other president, if former President Barack Obama, if Joe Biden had proposed building this ballroom, which they've all admitted actually would have been great for state dinners, would have been great for state visits when they have these very important world leaders in town, no one on the Democratic side of the aisle would have been complaining if any other president had done it. So President Trump has said, look, this is a gift to future presidents. It's not just for myself. And I think that Democrats should agree with him on that and give him the money that he does need to do the security upgrades to make this a really safe and secure environment.
Great to see you, Kaylee. Kaylee McGhee White. At least Elizabeth Warren's not like drinking beer on camera. I mean, we've got that going for us.
Not yet, at least.
Well, she did once back in the day, and it was embarrassing.